Back on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive. New York Mets, Jose Siri fouled the ball off his leg the other day and has now been put on the 10-day IL, but it might be a little bit longer. He has a fractured fibula.
That's a tough one right there, man. Oh.
They've been kind of not lucky right now, and Juan Soto, he stepped up last night and just basically said, listen, I'm struggling a little bit to get hits, but the hits are going to come, so stop panicking. It's the mid-April. You're freaking out a little bit early, but I could say I do agree, but I don't agree. I mean, you don't want to lose a bunch of games in April and have to try to make them up in August and September, but he said you don't win or lose a championship in April. Which kind of makes a little bit of sense, I guess. But, yeah, listen, he signed a $765 million deal. You're going to press a little bit. But on the flip side, I think people miss this. If I'm pitching against that guy, I don't want him hitting off me. And I certainly don't want him beating me if the rest of the Mets lineup isn't hitting. So I think it's kind of twofold. If everybody's hitting around Soto, he's going to get pitches to hit. If they're not, I'm definitely going to pitch around that dude.
Yeah, right at the top of the lineup. I mean, no one looks at Francisco Lindor, but he's only at 220 as the leadoff batter. It's a real top-heavy lineup. I think Peter Alonso's having, as far as a guy who gets paid and coming in and being even better, like Peter Alonso's proving that. But he's had one of the best starts. The bottom part of this order, like Winker, get it together, dude. This Taylor guy they run out there in center field every
Tyrone.
I don't know about this guy. I think Acuna Jr., this Loaizaga, Louis Angel is what I call him. Acuna's little brother, I think he is a gem that they have gotten from that Scherzer deal a couple of years ago.
He's one of their best players.
But that 6, 7, 8 part of that lineup stinks. And you're right. Like, I want to give Alonso, I want to give Soto anything to sniff at. Like, you guys are going to have to go fishing if you want some hits.
No, listen, Siri, he was hitting 050 when he hit the it hurts off his leg. Beatty's hitting 139. I don't love going through this, but Tyrone Taylor's hitting 158.
That's bad, bro.
Vientos, who was amazing last year, is hitting 138. And a lot of this is it's a game of adjustments. I'm not going to keep feeding you certain pitches for you to just it's feast or famine. That's what hitting is. And, Lindor, when he got the big extension from the Mets, he struggled for a couple of years, then he figured it out. But again, whatever he was doing last year, here's the thing about modern-day technology. I can sit there and go over at bat after at bat after bat. Tony Gwynn had to do it in the 80s and 90s with a freaking VCR. He had to take a VCR on the road with him or look at it in the video room at home and sit there and stop and rewind and all that kind of crap. Now you could just sit there and just, flip pages and be like, okay, this is this, this is this, this is this, and get kind of an understanding of this is what these guys are hitting, and you could go over counts. I mean, it's so much more broken down than when I played. They would have cheat sheets that they, taped in the dugout that this is what this guy likes to hit with 2 strikes or whatever. This is what he's done in the last 2 weeks. You have way more instantaneous information now. That's why, Nimmo and some of these other guys, it's not even really about the hitting instruction anymore. It's about making adjustments from one at bat to another, and we've come in a time in the last 10 years where these guys, remember when we used to talk about Gleyber Torres and that pose? He would swing and just hold it like, dude, there's sometimes the ball's outside, you throw your bat at it. There's sometimes where there's, a high fastball, and if you're like the Vlad Guerrero Sr., you tomahawk it. That's what baseball is. Baseball is not just like one swing the same way. This isn't golf. You can't just have like a picturesque swing all the time. I was just watching on MLB because I've been sitting here watching a lot of this today about Jackie Robinson, but they had this kid on from the Kansas City Royals, and they were going over what he does, and he's like, listen, I choke up on the bat a little bit. I do certain different things in different at-bats depending on who's pitching. That's the way I was taught. Every guy I faced, there was something different about that guy. Okay, Brett Butler's a slap hitter. Vince Coleman probably going to try to lay down a bunt on me. Willie McGee's going to slap it in the gap. Jack Clark's going to go for a home run. I could go through all these different lineups. Every guy had a specific kind of thing I had to battle against. And I think we've watered down the game so much brain-wise. These guys just stand up there with 2 strikes and swing the same way they did with the first 2 strikes. And that's not the way the game's supposed to be played.
Everybody's getting hits for Tampa Bay last night against the Boston Red Sox. 16-1 your final score, and just all over everybody. Everybody's all over the Boston Red Sox last night. Red Sox now falling to, what is that, 8-10?
8-10, and their pitching staff, other than Crochet, just and listen. I'm a big proponent of you're getting paid a lot of money to do your damn job. And for some of these players, you can't sit here and whine now that you're 2 weeks out of spring training. You've been going at this for 2 months. It's nothing sneaking up on you. You know how good your opponents are. And I'll tell you what, Tampa Bay is the weakest team to me, lineup-wise, in the AL East. I know Baltimore's having their issues. They've got some injuries. They're moving guys around. Their shortstop's playing center field, and he's booting balls, and people are going banana. That happens. But, some of these other guys, you got to start hitting. Casas, dude, you're hitting 175. You're hitting I-75. And you were worried about in spring training some of these other cats getting the call up. Well, Campbell's hitting 328.
Yeah.
The first game of the season, he went 0 for, and I don't know what the Boston show is that we watch all the time. They were like, this guy's not major league ready. This guy's terrible. This guy, that guy has been crushing ever since the first game of the season. So it's like, don't worry about certain people. They'll do what they need to do. But Casas and some of these other guys, man, you got to start playing some baseball out there, man. It's not about sunning yourself in a Speedo and painting your nails black. I think all that stuff is cool. But at the end of the day, do your damn job. Hit, protect the people around you, make Devers' life easier by getting on base. That's the kind of stuff. It's keep it simple, stupid stuff. But we've gotten away from that. And I hate going over like 20 teams that are hitting below 245, but there's 20 teams hitting below 245 already.
Damn.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
I don't want a product that looks like that. That's not a good product for the fans, and it's certainly for you guys, and I don't like to bring up how much you're making, but I was looking at some of these other leagues and what they're making. Your minimum salary is $750,000. Your average salary is pushing $5 million per. Yes, you do have guys on the high end making 35. That's your 10%. But the other guys are making a really good living in the middle of the lineup. So just do your job and give yourself an opportunity to win.
4 solo home runs to 1 solo home run was the Royals-Yankees game last night. 4-1 Yankees with more of those home runs. Bobby Witt with the ssolo job for Kansas City.
I told you to watch Bobby Witt.
But he's like the only one. And even him, some of these, when they go to the AL East, go back to the playoff games, the Kansas City Royals are just an average team to me. I don't know what you're going to get out of them any day. Now, they might be able to beat up on the Central. They might be able to scratch some wins out. But when I've seen them against the Orioles, when I've seen them against the Yankees, this is just a middle-of-the-road kind of team to me. Yankees should take advantage of them again tonight.
Listen, I like Jonathan India. He's hitting below 200. Pasquantino's just barely hitting over.
Another
200.
leadoff guy. Like I thought your leadoff guys were the ones that were on base all the time.
Salvador Perez is hitting over 202, just 203. But here's the thing. Like I said, when I'm facing a lineup that I saw last year have success, my job now is to say, okay, whatever they were doing last year, I've got to, try to expose whatever they didn't do well, which is if it's set up and break. I was just watching this thing on Greg Maddux. It was so amazing because it's so simplistic and beautiful that I try to teach it, and I'm not taking any credit for what he did, but it's what I was taught. You can't set up your off speed without establishing a fastball. And so Greg Maddux is talking, and he's talking about, I can't get you out on my changeup or my sinker unless I establish a knee-high fastball for a strike. That's all. I mean, yes, he's a Hall of Famer. He won 350 games. But this guy, when I faced him in the minor leagues and watched him, he tried to throw it by everybody. Which is what I'm watching today, which is everybody trying to throw 110 miles an hour. Okay, that's great. Not everybody's pitching, though. Some guys are just throwing. But you still have to set guys up. And I'm going to give you another example. So a lot of my hitters that I played with the Reds, we would talk about setting pitchers up, and I was fascinated by this. So Dave Parker was so brilliant. Dave's like, okay, I know, let's just take back in the day Charlie Lee Brandt or a big lefty that throws a bunch of curveballs. Let's just take like Clayton Kershaw of today. Clayton Kershaw's got one of the best curveballs, okay? So when you do see that curveball, you make yourself look terrible. You swing, you fall down, and so what do you think he's going to throw the next pitch?
Fastball.
No, he's going to throw you another curveball because he's like, I just made Dave Parker look like a tool on this pitch. And then you're just sitting there waiting, curveball comes, bam. That's what smart hitters do. They try to set you up. I don't even know if there's guys that even think like that anymore. And the only way you can think like that is if you have hitting instruction or other teammates that are telling you to do stuff like that. You know, remember I said this all the time. It's like little ants. Whatever the guy got you out on, you come back to the dugout and you're like, oh, my God, the guy's changeup's ridiculous today. The guy's curveball's ridiculous today. And so now you go up there looking that if you see that, okay, you know what? I got to just try to do something to put it in play. And that's where I think we've lost a little bit of the gamesmanship in baseball where, you know, the analytics department came in and said, well, you know, stealing and hit and running and all this other stuff's not that important. It kind of is.
Do you think
getting on base is still important?
Do you think that gamesmanship that you're talking about on the defensive side, if you want to call it that, the gamesmanship is I'm going to switch pitchers every inning. So, you know, you might go back to that dugout and talk about this changeup. You're going to have a whole different changeup next inning.
Yeah, I agree with you. That makes it tougher.
And then for those guys, like, well, you know, I could do a lot of studying, but they're just going to throw a different guy at me next time, and I can't study 8 guys, so I'm just going to go up there with the game plan, see what happens. My big swing. Maybe
but you still want to go up there with you right. Nailed it, though. You want to go up there with a plan. All right, so I know that some of these guys throw – all right, let's just take Paul Skeens, who's almost unhittable, and I get that, or Hunter Green. But – all right, so what is the pitch I think I can hit? Right now, Hunter Green's slider is as good as anybody's in the game. I can't hit that. I'm not going to swing at it. Gary Sheffield taught me this. So I subtract that pitch from my game plan. Now I just go up and I'm like, I'm going to try and hit this guy's best fastball. And I actually just saw the White Sox do this to Aroldis Chapman. So Aroldis Chapman came in to save a game. And I can't remember who it was. Who was it? I can't remember who it was. Great at bat. Hit it the opposite way. He's going to throw it 98. I know I can't hit his slider. He's a right-handed hitter, and he just slapped it the other way, and then somebody hit a big home run. But, I mean, the basics of this is going up there with a plan to go up and try to, but it is difficult. And I do agree with that because, all right, let's just say you're going to face my teammate Tom Browning. Tom Browning didn't throw harder than 85, right, and he threw a little bit of a changeup. So if I get 3 at-bats off of that guy, I think by the 3rd time I could figure it out.
Right.
You know, but now I agree. You get 15 outs by the first guy, and I was just looking at this yesterday too. So Paul Skeens went 6 innings. Skubal went 7 innings.
Yeah.
They both threw around 100 pitches. That's another problem. You're throwing 20 pitches per inning. You got to stop that. We were taught 10 to 12 pitches per inning for 3 outs. I think we've gotten too comfortable with being lazy because the analytics people tell you that's okay. It's okay. 100 pitches in 5 innings is okay. That's not okay. You're wearing your arm out. You're working too hard. You know, and remember they used to have a word called economical? That start was very economical.
Uh-huh.
That was Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux averaged 77. This is his career average. 77 pitches per 9 innings. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. He had something left at the end of the game. Nowadays, 77 pitches is through the 4th inning. So I just think that we've lost a little bit of ourselves with the analytics saying all of this stuff it's not okay. I don't want these guys to be worn out. I just saw a kid in high school locally threw 110 pitches in 6 innings.
Saw that. Yeah.
And I was like, what coach let that happen? They should fire that a-hole. Because that's not right. That kid's like 16 years old.
So true.
So, and I've got enough problems with my 16U kids with sore arms and sore elbows and stuff like that. So, you know, I really it bothers me. Like we call this the pickle. The pickle is we've dumbed down and made the game lazy where these guys aren't sharp when they go up to the plate.
See what we get tonight? We got some pretty good pitching matchups for the Red Sox. They got Walker Buehler on the mound against Pepio. Pepio has been pretty nails since the middle of last year. Nick Federico told me a great stat for today. And by the way, Jackie Robinson Day, we can't say that enough today. You'll see a lot of 42 out there.
Don't be confused when everybody's
everyone always asks that. I like explaining it to them, though. But Tampa Bay has not won on Jackie Robinson Day at home in 14 straight times.
No freaking way.
Oh, they're due. Pepio on the mound today for Tampa Bay. That is a 7:05er. And then also on this station, Yankees, it's a max effort day. Max Fried going against Michael Waka 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 of Kansas City. That should be a decent pitching matchup for the New York Metropolitans. Taylor McGill on the hill. Taylor, less than 1 ERA right now. He's 2-1. That's not just one sample size. He's throwing a .63, and against Bailey Ober, who has a huge ERA at 7.1. So you would think if some of those 6, 7, 8 guys in that lineup would get some hits, today is the day, New York Mets. A's are playing the Sox. I just love seeing that series. I mean, everybody should be tuned into that one. But then Cubs-Padres is going to be fun. Dodgers, to me, like that's the Jackie Robinson team. I think a lot of stuff will be focused on tonight's game, 10-10, Rockies-Dodgers. Shohei last night, another dramatic fashion home run. This dude, man, this guy is just...
Your guy Imanaga's going tonight, and you say Kikuchi, I say Kikuchi is going tonight, too.
Who's he?
Kikuchi's on the Angels.
Right, but he's pitching against Corbin tonight for the Texas Rangers. That's a huge matchup. I saw that earlier. Corbin. That is going to be a game, sports fans on the West Coast. Check that one out.
And if you can't stay up late, because Cubs-San Diego's a good series, but Dodgers, man, people were down on the Dodgers because they lost a few games. They got a lot of issues with the Dodgers right now. They're not playing like they're supposed to, but I think everybody hates the Dodgers now because they spent so much money. They've been so successful. They're the West Coast version of the Yankees.
Yep. Evil empire. That's what they are. Here's one for you. The Giants, who are 12-4, and one of the best teams in baseball right now, taking on the Phillies. And the Phillies, I think, record does not reflect how good they are. It's early. They're 9-7. Luzardo on the mound, who is 2-0 right now with just a 1.5 for the Phillies. One of the better pitchers, if not the best pitcher so far this year for the Philadelphia Phillies and in the National League. Verlander for the Giants. And Verlander now for this Giants team. Like going into this year, you would think, all right, this guy's going to help them out. Now it's like, okay, this guy needs to help them out. Like they're like a contender now, and he can't be a weak link. I'm just interested in this start because he's always a slow starter. Even his Cy Young years, he can be a slow starter.
It's got to be tougher because he's 42 now.
Correct.
So that bod doesn't feel that great.
Very interested in this start in particular just because it's in Philadelphia. They would love nothing more than to put 5 or 6 runs on this guy in 3 innings. So,
and you're right on the money, man. He's 3 starts, almost a 7 ERA. 10 earned runs, couple of home runs. But here's the thing that's not Verlander-esque. 6 walks in 13 innings. And 16 strikeouts. So listen, I just think it's going to take him a little bit longer. I know you're a Cubs fan. Remember Ryan Sandberg? Ryan didn't get going until May.
At least.
May, June, July, and you did not want to pitch to that cat because he was on fire. So some guy, I don't know what it is. Maybe, I doubt it's the cold. Maybe it's tougher for him to get it going like he used to. But I also think that just the way he goes about his business is going to, Jordan Hicks is fantastic. Logan Webb is one of the top 10 pitchers in baseball the last couple of years. Robbie Ray is coming back from his Tommy John. He's 3-0 with a 2.9 ERA. So things are clicking for the Giants health-wise, and I think that he could add a lot by just staying in the mix and helping out a little bit.
Totally agree. Everybody's going to need it, man. I mean, we talked about Justin Steele, my guy from the Cubs, going down.
That sucks.
But it's that's just going to be one of many. Like next week, there's going to be another big time pitcher that's going to go down. It's these teams that have deep staffs that can adapt, and like you're saying, if you can find 3 guys that pitch economical and make 30 starts for you this year, your team is well ahead of everyone else.
Listen, Acuna's got issues with his knee again.
Yeah.
Everybody's got these different issues, but I'd like them to start trying to figure out why are these pitchers coming up lame so much? How are we not figuring? You had 6 guys get cut on from the Dodgers rotation last year. Isn't that enough for someone to say, like, maybe we should investigate a little bit harder and try to figure out why are these guys are they throwing too many breaking balls? Or are they throwing them too hard? Is there something happening? Is it the sticky substance you're putting on your fingers? I mean, I'm not an expert and I'm not smart enough to figure it out. But there's too many young guys getting hurt in the game right now.
Seems like max effort, man. That's what it always keeps coming back to. You get a guy that's amped up, that's throwing 45 pitches plus his bullpen, and he's throwing them all 95 plus, and your arm can only take so much.
And I tell anybody and everybody right now, MLB's doing a great job. They did an hour on Jackie Robinson, letters to people, because he's such a mentor to people. But they're doing so much great video that they've collected on him. So if you have time, check it out. Watch some Jackie Robinson video and check out this dude. First of all, I love the unis, man.
I agree.
They were wool.
Yeah.
They had to be hot as hell and itchy as hell because I have put them on. But imagine trying to play with crappy spikes. They didn't have batting gloves. They played all day games. They didn't have night games back then. So you had the wool. It was hot. It was uncomfortable, and they still were amazing when they were playing the game back in the day in the 40s and 50s.
You're right. I'm on this MLB.com watching some of this footage.
Crazy.
Like, they've remastered a lot of black and white stuff, and they've put some of the photos and videos together that looks like it wasn't a stream video. Like, they've pieced a bunch of stuff together to make it look like one. Good stuff, man. And
Jackie, I still love Jackie because he used to always steal home.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up, but I think he stole home like 30-something times. I think like 33 times in his career. And obviously Yogi Berra is the most upset because he did it in the World Series, and he still, to the day he died, said he was out. He wasn't safe. It was like, oh, my God, the guy who threw the home run to Bobby Thompson still swears that they were stealing signs from center field. And by the way, he was Bobby Valentine's father-in-law.
Wow.
Ralph Branca. So Ralph Branca, I interviewed him years ago, and wonderful interview, but he still maintained to the day he died, they were cheating. They had some guy with a blinker light in center field. So even back in the 50s, they still, said that people were cheating and doing the whole bang the drum slowly.
19 times Jackie Robinson successfully stole home.
Damn.
There you go.
Damn.
Great job, Curtis. 19. Imagine that 19 times.
No.
Like Jackie's on third. You know what Jackie's going to do.
Right. And
he's trying to steal home.
I haven't seen 19 attempts since I've been alive.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Who tries to steal home?
And these aren't pass balls. These aren't wild pitches. These are balls that are like he's on the move when the pitcher has the baseball.
Yeah. When the guy's just standing there about to wind up, there goes Jackie, and then you try to speed up. But
one of the greatest athletes of all time. People put him in this baseball box, but go back to UCLA history and just look at all the sports that he dominated.
I love it because baseball was his weakest sport. Think about that. Yeah. Think about how